approaches to ethics. We have normative ethics. This is the first approach of ethics. Normative ethics offers theories or accounts of the best way to live. The best way to live. These theories evaluate actions in a systematic way. This normative ethics is about the normals. That means they may focus on outcome or duties or motivation as a means of justifying human conduct. So this includes the ethical theories or approaches such as utilitarianism, deontology, virtue ethics, principlism, and narrative ethics. So normative ethics poses questions like, are there general principles or rules that could follow which distinguish between right and wrong? What are the principles to distinguish the actions as right and wrong? Are there virtues or relationships that we can nurture in order to behave well? What are the virtues that everyone should adopt, everyone should know in order to have a good behavior, a good discipline, a decent discipline, and live in a better manner with themselves? The teleological ethics or the consequentialist. This is one point of the normative ethics. It is referred as the end justifies the means. Teleological ethics, or as you can understand from the term here, consequentialist means the result, that means. So the main point of teleological ethics or consequentialism is the end justifies the means. That means the final result of an action justifies the meaning of a certain action. We have to wait for the results. That means we have to calculate what the result is going to produce, what the action is going to imply at the end. There is no need of hurry here. That means there is no rush of giving or reaching a conclusion. So it believes in a purpose, ends or goals of an action. What is the purpose of the action? What is the end or the goal of a certain action? So it stresses the concept of an action that determines morality or immorality of a given action. So the end, it's the result that determines whether a certain action is good or bad, moral or immoral. So consequentialist ethics, it is a common for us to determine our moral responsibility by weighing the consequences of our actions. We have to weigh, we have to measure, or we have to calculate what is the consequence of a certain action. According to this consequentialism or teleological ethics, the correct moral conduct is determined only by the cost-benefit analysis of an action's consequences. If the consequence is bad, if the consequence is unjust or immoral or wrong, the action will be determined as wrong. If not, it will be considered as something right, or so it's based on their end. We all always seek to maximize our own self-interests. This is the definition of psychological egoism. If one cannot do an act, one has no obligation to do that act. It ought to imply. Altruistic acts involve putting other people's interests ahead of our own. The definition of altruism. So this is the definition of altruism. That means altruists involve putting other people's interest. They give the interest of the other people priority. That means they are not selfish. That means, in other words, whereas here, the way always we seek to maximize our own self-interest, we are self-centered. That means, so it's the opposite of the altruist point. But altruism contradicts psychological egoism, and so is impossible. It seems impossible in the psychological egoism. Therefore, altruists' acts are never morally obligatory. By the premise 2 and 4, this 2 and 4, it becomes obligatory. Morality becomes obligatory. Ethical egoism tells you that it is perfectly alright to treat others in a way that's your advantage and not to theirs, as long as you can be certain that you will get away with it. This is one principle of ethical egoism. The following are some methods to apply the principles of ethical egoism in a particular situation. List the possible acts. For each act, see how much net good it would do for you. After listing the possible acts, then we need to see how much net good it would do for you. Identify the act that does the most net good for you. You need to identify the most net good, that means. This is all for this video. I hope you got it helpful, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video.